If you don't support gun control, you're evil. Welcome to my channel, Escaping the Echo Chamber. Let me get right to it. Obviously, that's a ridiculous statement, but that's where we're at right now. We're at a place where, and right now, kids are being used as the primary vehicle for a ridiculous, just absolute demagoguery of just demonizing anybody who doesn't agree with their position. And there's no legitimacy to such a statement or to such a sentiment. And if you are trying to agree with such a statement, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and realize you're being ridiculous. That you are the same individual. You're doing the exact same thing that the people you condemn do. If you look on the right, where they, if you don't care about immigration, if you don't want to ban immigrants from this country, you hate America. It's the same stupidity that's coming out of people's mouths on this gun control issue now. So stop it. Just stop being ridiculous. Here's why I'm saying that. There are so many people who own guns and use their guns to protect themselves and their families. So you could say, oh, well, you don't care about kids' lives? No, you're dealing with people who own guns because they care about kids' lives. They care about their kids' lives. And they know that it's a harsh world out there. There are people who will hurt you, do things to your family. How many home invasions have there been? How many attempted break-ins that have been thwarted because homeowners had guns? Some cases, homeowners actually had to discharge their firearms and either hurt or killed somebody who was trying to break into their home. But in some cases, all that was necessary to stop it was for the intruder to see that they weren't dealing with a pushover, that the person in that house had a firearm. And it's not just homes. People had personal firearms that they carry on them. That how many women have been able to protect themselves with personal firearms from attacks and just being victimized. And it's fortunate that they had something on themselves, because it would have taken law enforcement too long to get there. Face it, police can't be, even if you are the most ardent supporter and believe in police cannot be everywhere all of the time. So there are going to be times when somebody is in danger, somebody is in trouble, and the cops cannot respond in time to stop that danger. That's one of the primary reasons to have a firearm. That's one of the primary reasons to advocate for the personal retention of firearms. So to sit here and make these blanket, wildly, absolutely ridiculous statements about anybody who owns guns or doesn't support gun control is a horrible person. Just stop it. Just stop it, please. Because you can't then get mad at the right when they're doing the same kind of demagoguery with immigrants. You have a person who is an illegal immigrant who commits a crime, Kate Steinle, and now they're saying, oh, see, that's why we need to ban immigrants. That's why immigrants need to be can't be allowed in this country. And you will gladly and rightfully say that's stupid. That makes no sense. That's ridiculous. You can't blame an entire swath of people for the actions of a few. So stop doing it with gun owners. Don't take a look at one or two gun owners who've done it, who've done horrible things with their guns, and then say, oh, everybody that owns an AK-15, AK-47, AR-15. But I mean, because a lot of these incidents, a lot of these tragedies have been perpetrated by people who didn't legally own their firearms, which is one of the things that gun owners have been saying. Well, you make a gun law that doesn't necessarily going to stop, criminals from getting guns. And it's factual, because there are laws on the books that prohibit people who are already convicted of crimes of having guns. Yet, time and time again, these very same people get guns. They don't go to the gun store, fill out an application and get a gun. They get them from the black market. And because there are so many people that have guns illegally and that intend to do people harm with them, it makes sense for people that are trying to protect themselves and their families to own guns. If you are a person that does not personally feel comfortable owning a firearm, that's your choice. And you shouldn't be demonized because you don't like guns. But you shouldn't be demonizing others because they do feel comfortable protecting themselves and their family with a gun. Simple matter of empathy and getting out of this mindset of just us versus them. Please, people, stop it. I mean, I just saw Chelsea Handler make a absolutely ridiculous statement about how my armed security doesn't use semi-automatic weapons. So many things wrong with that statement, including the fact that, oh, wow, you have armed security. How many of us don't have paid armed security that can follow us around and shadow us, protect us 24/7? How many of us can't afford that? So for you, I mean, that right there shows that she has no business in this conversation at all. Let me tell you why. Because you have no business demonizing anybody else because you are protected by men with guns on around the clock. And now you can't say that somebody who's not rich enough to afford an armed security contingent is evil because all they can afford is the actual gun itself, the arm itself. Like that's ridiculous. But that's what you have. You have a bunch of rich people who are protected by people with guns telling the rest of us, oh, you don't need guns. Well, then why do you? Because you have guns. You have people with guns surrounding you 24/7. They protect your residence. They protect your person. But you don't expect the average American citizens to be able to protect themselves with guns? That's not just hypocritical. That's worse than hypocritical. That's like, it's like dismissive of other people's lives. Like you don't value other people's lives or the importance of them to be able to protect themselves or their lives. Like it's elitism. That's exactly what it is. It's elitism. You believe yourself to be better than everybody else, that you should be able to be protected by people with guns, but other people shouldn't be. That's ridiculous. And if you're going to say, oh, well, they're protected by people with guns, cops. Well, wait a minute. Aren't you protected by the cops the same way? But yet you've decided that the cops aren't enough to protect you because the cops, they have their precinct, they patrol, they're not going to be everywhere you are. So you said I needed an armed security contingent. And that's why so many other people, regular, hardworking Americans, say, you know what? I want a gun on my person. I want a gun in my house. I want to be able to protect myself and my family, because the cops can't always be there. That doesn't make them evil. That makes them people, just like you. So please, please stop demonizing people just because they have a different opinion from you, just because they feel comfortable with firearms, whereas you may not. If you talk about common sense, gun control, listen, stop it. Common sense, anything is just too subjective a term. And where you may be talking about one thing, there may be hundreds, thousands other people talking about something else when they say common sense gun control. You know, so you may say, oh no, I don't want to ban any guns. Well, this next person may say, yeah, I want to ban AR-15s. I want to ban assault rifles. And then they won't even clearly define what an assault rifle is. And then some people will say, oh, we need to ban all guns. Some people say, okay, we need to stop people under 21 from having guns. What? Why should people between the ages of 18 and 21 be unable to defend themselves? That makes no sense. A kid moves out of his parents' house, or out of their parents' house at 18 years old. They get their own little place, and they're not allowed to defend themselves. They're not allowed to have a gun on the premises to protect their new residence or their person. Why? Why? Because of one, what's he, 19-year-old did something that was heinous. Now you want to strip the rights of millions of 18 to 21-year-olds, 18 to 20-year-olds all over the country? That makes no sense. None whatsoever. I mean, seriously, since when, with this one incident, suddenly a common sense feature has banned people under 21? That was never talked about before. So if you want to talk about common sense, it changes every day and is subjective to every other person. So if you want to have a debate, a discussion, let's have a discussion, but let's stop with the demagoguery of this demonizing. Anybody who doesn't agree with me is a horrible person, they're evil. It's not productive, and it's not going to solve anything. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it. If you dislike the video, tell me why in the comments. Thank you. I'll see you next episode.